Here's something that might shock you. Nearly everything most men believe about building genuine intimacy with their partner is fundamentally wrong. I'm Dr. Julia Rhodes, a men's sex therapist who's worked with couples for over a decade, and what I'm about to share will challenge everything you think you know about connection. Most guys pour all their attention into the usual places: the lips, the chest, the obvious erogenous zones. But here's the truth. Those areas don't even crack the top 5 when we're talking about creating the kind of deep, lasting emotional bond that women truly crave. I'm going to reveal 5 incredibly sensitive zones on a woman's body that most men completely overlook. These areas are supported by actual neuroscience research, and when stimulated with the right approach, they activate specific regions in her brain that release bonding chemicals, create intense emotional warmth, and generate a craving for your presence that extends well beyond the moment itself. And if you're a man over 50, you're actually in a unique position of advantage here. Why? Because mastering these 5 zones requires qualities that younger men typically haven't developed yet: genuine patience, deliberate intention, and the maturity to slow everything down when society is telling everyone to rush. Let me walk you through what they're missing. Zone 1, the nape of the neck. You've probably heard about this spot before, but I can almost guarantee you're not approaching it correctly. I'm talking about the nape of her neck, that delicate area at the back, just beneath where her hairline ends. Most men make a critical mistake here. They rush. A quick kiss or two, then they move on. That's a huge missed opportunity, because this specific region contains something remarkable: 8 distinct pairs of spinal nerve endings originating from the cervical spine. Research published in neuroscience literature shows us that when these particular nerve endings receive gentle stimulation, they initiate the release of oxytocin directly in the brain. And oxytocin is the primary hormone responsible for bonding, trust, and intimate connection. But the power of this zone goes beyond just the nerve density. There's a profound psychological component at play here. The back of the neck features exceptionally thin skin, packed with an unusually high concentration of sensory receptors. When you touch this area with intention, something unique happens. She cannot see what you're doing next. She has to surrender to the moment. She has to trust you completely. That combination of vulnerability and nervous system stimulation creates something extraordinary: genuine emotional surrender. Think about the evolutionary significance here. In nature, exposing your neck is the ultimate act of vulnerability. It's where you're most defenseless. When a woman allows you to touch, kiss, or breathe on this area, she's communicating something profound on a primal level. I trust you completely with my most vulnerable self. Here's the proper technique. Slow everything down. Begin by gently sweeping her hair to one side or lifting it away from her neck. Let your fingertips barely graze across the skin first. This builds anticipation. Then, place your lips softly against the nape. Don't rush to the next kiss. Hold that position for a full 3 seconds. Notice how her breathing shifts. Then, place another gentle kiss just to the side. Then another on the other side. Scientific studies confirm that this area responds most intensely to light, delicate sensations, soft touching, unhurried kissing, and even the warmth of gentle breathing across the skin, which can literally send shivers cascading down her spine. Here's an advanced technique. After placing a kiss on her nape, pull back just slightly and let your warm breath linger on the exact spot you just kissed. This combination of touch, followed by warmth, activates even more nerve pathways. Watch for her response. You'll see her shoulders relax and drop. You'll notice her leaning back into you, seeking more contact. This is Zone 1. Master this foundation before moving forward. Zone 2. Behind the ear. The second zone hides in plain sight, yet it's so intensely sensitive that some women find it almost overwhelming when touched correctly. I'm referring to the soft skin behind her ear, specifically where her earlobe connects to her jawline and the hollow area just behind it. Research demonstrates that the majority of people find whispering, soft breathing, and gentle kissing in the ear region highly pleasurable, with the area behind the earlobe being particularly responsive. Here's why this creates such a powerful neurological response. The ears contain literally hundreds of specialized sensory receptors, and these connect to something fascinating called the vagus nerve. This is the same major nerve that runs from your brain all the way down through your heart and digestive system. It's the primary controller of your body's parasympathetic relaxation response. And here's the remarkable part. Stimulating the vagus nerve through the ear area can trigger deeply pleasurable sensations that ripple through the entire body. That's not an exaggeration or marketing hype. That's documented in actual scientific research. But here's the crucial element. You can't just randomly touch her ear and expect results. The technique is everything. Light, delicate stimulation consistently proves more effective than firm pressure. Gentle and slow beats aggressive and rushed every single time. Here's your step-by-step approach. Start by placing soft kisses on the area just below her ear. Then, gradually, slowly, work your way upward toward the earlobe itself. When you reach the earlobe, take it very gently between your lips. Hold it there for a moment. Don't rush past this. Then release and let your warm breath wash over the area you just touched. Pay close attention to individual differences. Some women absolutely love gentle attention to the earlobe and the surrounding area. Others find it too intense and prefer even lighter touch. Read her responses. If she leans in closer to you, if her breathing becomes slower and deeper, you're on the right track. Here's a professional tip from my work with couples. While you're kissing behind her ear, whisper something to her. The specific words almost don't matter. What matters is the intimacy of your voice, combined with the physical sensation. This creates a dual stimulation effect that's incredibly powerful for bonding and arousal. This is Zone 2. Unexpected, remarkably sensitive, and when approached with the right technique, absolutely unforgettable. Zone 3. The lower back and sacrum. Now we're entering territory that the majority of men never even think to explore, which is precisely what makes this zone so uniquely effective. I'm talking about her lower back, specifically the area just above her hips that medical professionals call the sacrum. This spot is absolutely essential to understand. The small of the back, the sacral region, represents one of the most delicate and responsive areas of the entire body. Gentle contact here, or even just placing your hand with warm pressure, can create an immediate sense of comfort, safety, and deep connection. But the real power lies in understanding the nerve pathways. The nerves running through this portion of the spine connect directly to the pelvic region. Thoughtful touch or carefully applied light pressure in this area can trigger both relaxation and positive physical sensations throughout the lower body. Let that sink in for a moment. This zone that most men completely ignore has a direct neural highway to the body's relaxation centers and to circulation in the pelvic region. When you engage this area with proper technique, you're essentially sending soothing, warming signals throughout her entire nervous system. Researchers at Massachusetts General Hospital discovered something remarkable. The sacral nervous system plays a major role in numerous physical and emotional responses, with many individuals experiencing significant relaxation and positive sensations when this area receives appropriate stimulation. This isn't theoretical. This is established, proven neuroscience. Here's how to apply this knowledge. The sacrum responds most powerfully to pressure, not just feather-light touch. When you're close with her, place your entire palm flat against her lower back. Apply gentle but firm pressure. Not hard enough to cause discomfort, but enough that she really feels your hand there. Then slowly slide your hand downward toward her hips while maintaining that same steady pressure. Alternative technique. Use your fingertips to trace small, deliberate circles on her sacrum. Start with light pressure, then gradually increase the firmness. Or try using your knuckles to apply deeper, more focused pressure, moving in a slow, wave-like motion up and down the length of her lower back. If you want to amplify the effect even further, combine this physical touch with verbal reassurance or affectionate words. The combination of physical sensation in the lower back, combined with emotional validation in her ears, creates a powerfully calming, connected experience that feels entirely natural and grounding. This is Zone 3. Hidden from most men's awareness, incredibly powerful when engaged correctly, and supported by rigorous scientific research. Zone 4. The inner wrist and forearm. The fourth zone is one of the most consistently overlooked areas on the entire human body, and that's exactly what gives it such potent effectiveness. I'm referring to the inner wrist and the soft, delicate skin running along the inner forearm, extending upward toward the inside of the elbow. The skin in this region is remarkably thin and densely packed with responsive nerve endings, which makes it exceptionally sensitive to gentle touch and soft contact. Here's what makes this zone so effective. The inner arm and elbow area receive very little deliberate stimulation in everyday life. Because these nerve endings remain relatively underactivated most of the time, when they do receive focused, gentle attention, the sensation feels surprisingly vivid and noticeable, almost electric in quality. This spot carries both subtlety and power, because it's not an obviously intimate zone in most people's minds. That makes it perfect for creating quiet moments of affection and connection, even in everyday settings where more overtly intimate touch would be inappropriate. Here's your technique. Take her hand gently and slowly turn her wrist so the palm faces upward. With calm, intentional movements, trace your fingertips softly along the inner arm, starting from the wrist and moving gradually toward the inner elbow. Alternate between soft, continuous touch and brief pauses. These pauses allow her nervous system to fully register each new sensation. In private, appropriate settings, gentle and brief kisses along the inner forearm can also heighten awareness and create deeper connection. The key principle here is pacing. Slow, rhythmic contact that allows anticipation and warmth to build naturally rather than rushing through the experience. This is Zone 4. Simple, elegant, and absolutely fascinating from a neurological perspective. Zone 5, the lower abdomen and navel. The fifth zone may genuinely surprise you, but it's thoroughly supported by neuroscience research. I'm talking about the lower abdomen, specifically the area surrounding the navel. The reason this area is so intriguing is rooted in how the body's sensory pathways are anatomically wired. The navel and the lower abdominal regions share developmental tissue origins and nerve connections with deeper structures in the body. In many individuals, gentle stimulation around this zone can activate sensations that spread more widely throughout the abdominal and pelvic nerve network. This occurs because of a specific nerve pathway that runs from the navel region toward the spinal cord and lower body areas. Research shows us that the skin surrounding the navel contains a remarkably high concentration of sensory receptors, similar in density to those found in other major sensitive zones of the body. This makes the area unusually responsive to careful, gentle stimulation. Here's your technique. Begin by making slow, deliberate circular movements with your fingertips around the lower abdomen, keeping your pressure soft and steady. Gradually move closer to the center, then pause, allowing the body's natural sensory awareness to heighten and anticipation to build. If you're sharing this moment in a private setting, soft contact like gentle kisses or light tracing motions can increase relaxation and deepen connection. Always stay attuned to her breathing patterns and body language. These nonverbal cues will tell you when the rhythm and pressure feel right to her. This is Zone 5. Unexpected, solidly supported by research, and remarkably effective in building calm, deeply connected energy between partners. Now let me connect all of this for you, because understanding why these zones work is just as important as knowing where they're located. Here's a truth that surprises most people. Research consistently shows that humans across all ages, races, cultures, genders, and preferences find pretty much the same areas of our bodies to be sensitive. There's actually far less difference between men's and women's sensitive zones than popular culture would have you believe. But here's what makes these 5 specific spots so uniquely special. They're extraordinarily rich with something called C-tactile afferents. These are specialized nerve fibers that respond specifically to gentle, caring touch, the kind that's optimal for activating deep emotional and physical bonding responses. Unlike regular nerve fibers that simply respond to pressure or temperature changes, these special C-tactile afferent fibers are specifically designed by evolution to detect affectionate touch, the kind that signals safety, care, and bonding on a primal level. When you stimulate these areas with the proper technique, you're literally activating her brain's attachment and bonding systems. You're triggering the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. You're creating neural patterns in her brain that make her associate your specific touch with feelings of safety, pleasure, and deep trust. And here's why this actually becomes more powerful as you age, not less. As we mature, we naturally develop greater capacity for patient, mindful touch. We become less focused on our own immediate gratification. We become more capable of creating the emotional safety and presence that truly deep intimacy requires. For men over 50, this is absolutely everything. Whatever physical changes you might be experiencing, whatever concerns you have about performance, you have access to something far more powerful than youthful stamina. You have the capacity for deep, patient, intentional intimacy. The kind that creates genuine, lasting bonds that go far beyond the physical. Your partner isn't looking for you to perform like someone half your age. She's looking for you to connect with her as the experienced, confident, emotionally mature man you've become. Here's how to integrate these 5 zones into your actual intimate life. Don't try to incorporate all 5 in a single session. That becomes overwhelming and mechanical. Instead, weave them naturally and organically into your intimate moments together. The nape of the neck works beautifully when you're holding her from behind, perhaps while she's cooking dinner, or when you're both standing together looking out a window, or during a quiet moment on the couch. Behind the ear is perfect during close conversation, when you're sitting together talking, when you lean in to whisper something to her, or during those quiet moments of connection. The lower back works naturally during massage, during intimate moments, anytime you're positioned behind her, or when she's lying down comfortably. The inner wrist and arm can happen anywhere, during dinner, while watching television together, during a casual conversation. It's subtle enough to be appropriate in almost any setting, but intimate enough to create real connection. The lower abdomen and navel should be reserved exclusively for private, intimate moments. When you're already physically close, when she's relaxed and trusting, when the setting is appropriate for that level of intimacy. The critical principle. Here's the key that makes all of this work. These techniques only create genuine connection when they come from a place of authentic care and presence. If you're just mechanically going through the motions, trying to manipulate an outcome, she will sense it immediately, and the whole thing falls flat. The real power comes from genuine intention, not from mechanical technique. It comes from actually being present with her, actually caring about her experience, actually wanting to create connection rather than just achieve a specific result. And always remember, every woman is different. What creates an intense response in one person might work differently for another. Pay attention to her specific responses. Stay genuinely present in the moment. Always listen to and respond to her cues, both verbal and nonverbal. Let me share some of the most common mistakes I see men make when trying to create intimacy, based on my decade of work with couples. Mistake number 1, treating intimacy like a checklist. Some men approach these zones like they're checking boxes on a to-do list. Zone 1, check. Zone 2, check. This completely misses the point. Intimacy is about genuine presence and connection, not about completing a task. Mistake number 2, ignoring feedback. I cannot stress this enough. Every woman's sensitivity is unique. What feels amazing to one woman might be too intense for another. Watch her body language. Listen when she gives you feedback, whether verbal or nonverbal. Adjust your approach based on her individual responses. Mistake number 3, moving too fast. This is perhaps the most common error I see. Men rush through these zones, treating them as stepping stones to the main event. But here's the truth. For most women, these moments of connection are the main event. Slow down, savor the experience, build anticipation. Mistake number 4, neglecting emotional connection. Physical technique means nothing without emotional presence. Before you touch any of these zones, make sure you're emotionally present with her. Make eye contact. Have genuine conversation. Create emotional safety first. Mistake number 5, making it all about the end goal. When every touch is clearly aimed toward a specific outcome, it stops feeling like intimacy and starts feeling like an agenda. Sometimes, touch her neck just to make her feel cherished. Kiss behind her ear just to show affection. Not everything needs to lead somewhere else. Here's something crucial that many men don't understand. There's a difference between arousal and connection. Arousal is physiological. It's about physical response. Connection is emotional and neurological. It's about bonding and trust. These 5 zones are powerful because they create both simultaneously. When you engage them with genuine care and proper technique, you're not just creating physical pleasure, you're building emotional bonds. You're strengthening trust. You're deepening intimacy. In my work with couples, I've observed that couples who focus solely on arousal often find their intimate life becomes routine and eventually unsatisfying. But couples who prioritize connection, who use touch to communicate care, build trust, and create emotional safety, they maintain passionate, fulfilling, intimate lives for decades. Think of this as building a practice, not just learning a technique. Just like any skill worth developing, this gets better with consistent, mindful attention over time. Start small. Choose one zone, maybe the inner wrist and arm, since it's appropriate in almost any setting. Practice engaging with that zone mindfully for a week. Pay attention to how your partner responds. Notice what works and what doesn't. Then add another zone. Then another. Over time, these approaches will become natural parts of how you express affection and create intimacy. You won't be following a script. You'll be genuinely present and responsive. When you approach connection with this level of mindfulness and intention, everything shifts. Every touch becomes a form of communication. Every kiss becomes part of a conversation. Every moment becomes an opportunity to deepen your bond and reinforce trust. These 5 zones, the nape of her neck, behind her ear, her lower back and sacrum, her inner wrist and forearm, her lower abdomen and navel. They represent doorways to a level of intimacy that many couples never experience. But understand this, they're just the beginning. They're tools to help you develop a deeper capacity for present, caring, intentional touch. Once you develop that capacity, you'll find that every interaction with your partner can become an opportunity for connection. The beauty of this approach is that it continuously deepens with practice, not because you're perfecting a mechanical skill, but because you're expanding your ability for genuine presence and caring attention. You're developing emotional intelligence. You're building your capacity for intimacy itself. This is what intimacy looks like for the mature man. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's not about performance anxiety or meeting some external standard. It's about genuinely connecting with another human being at the deepest possible level. And that connection, that presence, that genuine care, that intentional touch, that's what she'll remember. That's what she'll crave. That's what will keep you both emotionally and physically connected for years to come. Let me share one more layer that can transform your intimate relationship: the power of rituals. When you incorporate these zones into regular rituals of connection, they become anchors for intimacy in your relationship. For example, many couples I work with create a nightly ritual where one partner gives the other a brief neck and shoulder massage, incorporating the nape of the neck and the lower back zones we discussed. This 5-minute ritual becomes a daily reminder of care and connection. Another couple created a morning ritual where they spend 2 minutes just holding each other before starting their day, incorporating gentle touch on the inner wrist and behind the ear. These small, consistent rituals build cumulative intimacy over time. Consider creating your own rituals. They don't need to be elaborate or time-consuming. They just need to be consistent, intentional, and genuinely focused on connection rather than outcome. I'm Dr. Julia Rhodes, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong, gentlemen.